Paper 4, Part 1, Business Economics. Business Economics. Economics deals with problems and questions that affect almost all kinds of individuals in their capacities as consumers and producers. Therefore, economic literacy is essential for everyone. Business economics may be defined as the use of economic analysis to make business decisions involving the best use of an organization's scarce resources. Students are advised to read the capsule for understanding of the concepts. The graphs and charts will assist them in revision of concept discussed in study material in minimum time. The book named An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations, 1776, usually abbreviated as The Wealth of Nations, by Adam Smith is considered as the first modern work of economics. Microeconomics is basically the study of the behavior of different individuals and organizations within an economic system. While business economics is basically concered with microeconomics, macroeconomic analysis also has got an important role to play. In macroeconomics, we study the behavior of the large economic aggregates, such as the overall levels of output and employment, total consumption, total saving and total investment, exports, imports and foreign investment, and also how these aggregates shift over time. These two fundamental facts are: human beings have unlimited wants. The means to satisfy these unlimited wants are relatively scarce from the subject matter of economics. Nature and scope of business economics. Definition: scope. Microeconomics, macroeconomics. Nature. A science based on microeconomics. Incorporates elements of macroeconomics. An art. Pragmatic. Normative. Nature of business economics. Basic problems of an economy. Business economics is a science based on microeconomics. Incorporates elements of macroanalysis. Business economics is also an art. Use of theory of markets and private enterprises. Pragmatic in approach. Interdisciplinary in nature. Normative in nature. The scope of business economics is quite wide. It covers most of the practical problems a manager or a firm faces. There are two categories of business issues to which economic theories can be directly applied. Internal issues or operational issues. This can be solved using microeconomics. 2. External issues or environmental issues. This can be solved using macroeconomics. Microeconomics applied to internal or operational issues. Demand analysis and forecasting, production and cost analysis, inventory management, market structure and pricing policies, resource allocation, theory of capital and investment decisions, profit analysis, risk and uncertainty analysis. Macroeconomics applied to external or environmental issues. The type of economic system stage of business cycle, the general trends in national income, employment, prices, saving and investment. Government's economic policies like industrial policy, competition policy, and fiscal policy, foreign trade policy and globalization policies. Working of central banks and financial sector and capital market and their regulation. Socio-economic organizations like trade unions, producer and consumer unions and cooperatives. Social and political environment. Business decisions cannot be taken without considering these present and future environmental factors. As the management of the firm has no control over these factors, it should fine-tune its policies to minimize their adverse effects. What to produce? Central economic problem. How to produce? What provisions are to be made for economic growth? For whom to produce? 1. 32 January 2022. The Chartered Accountant student. Business economics. Private property is the mainstay of capitalism and profit motive is its driving force. Decisions of consumers and businesses determine economic activity. Some examples of a capitalist economy may include United States and United Kingdom, Hong Kong, South Korea, etc. The resources are allocated according to the commands of a central planning authority and therefore, market forces have no role in the allocation of resources. In a mixed economy, the aim is to develop a system which tries to include the best features of both the controlled economy and the market economy while excluding the demerits of both. Capitalist economy, socialist economy, mixed economy. Meaning of demand. Demand means desire or wish to buy and consume a commodity or service backed by adequate ability to pay and willingness to pay. According to Marshall, the demand curve slopes downwards due to the operation of the law of diminishing marginal utility. However, according to Hicks and Allen, it is due to income effect and substitution effect. The demand curve usually slopes downwards, but EXCEPTIONALLY slopes upwards under certain CIRCUMSTANCES, as in the case of conspicuous goods, giffen goods, conspicuous necessities, future expectations about prices, demand for necessaries and speculative goods. The demand curve will shift to the right when there is a rise in income, unless the good is an inferior one, a rise in the price of a substitute, a fall in the price of complement, a rise in population and a change in tastes in favor of commodity. The opposite changes will shift the demand curve to the left. A demand schedule is a table that shows various prices and the corresponding quantities demanded. The demand schedules are of two types: individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. The law of demand states that people will buy more at lower prices and less at higher prices, other things being equal. Price. Quantity demanded. Arc elasticity. QQ1XO. P1. PYDA. B. D. Elasticity of demand is defined as the responsiveness of the quantity demanded of a good to changes in one of the variables on which demand depends. Point elasticity. The point elasticity of demand is the price elasticity of demand at a particular point on the demand curve. Price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand expresses the responsiveness of quantity demanded of a good to a change in its price, given the consumer's income, his tastes, and prices of all other goods. Arc elasticity. When price and quantity changes are discrete and large, we have to measure elasticity over an arc of the demand curve. 2. Business economics. The Chartered Accountant Student, January 2022, 33. Price. Demand curve of elasticity greater than 1. Price. Quantity. Demand curve of zero elasticity. XO. YD. EP equals 0. Price. Quantity. Demand curve of unitary elasticity. XO. YD. D. EP equals 1. Quantity. Demand curve of infinite elasticity. X. Y. PD. EP equals infinity. Price. Quantity. OOQ1X. YD. D. PP1. EP1. Demand curve of elasticity less than 1. Price. Quantity. OQQ1X. YD. D. P. P1. EP1. Utility. The utility of a consumer is a measure of the satisfaction that the consumer expects to obtain from consumption of goods and services when he spends money on a stock of commodity which has the capacity to satisfy his want. important theories are I. Marginal utility analysis. Three. 34 January 2022 The Chartered Accountant Student. Business Economics. Consumers Equilibrium. Consumer Surplus. Supply Curve. YP. OMLX. IC5, IC4, IC3, IC2, IC1. January 2022 The Chartered Accountant Student. Consumers Equilibrium. Consumer Surplus. N. OMLX. IC5, IC4, IC3,